Imagine a kingdom so vast that it stretched across mountains, rivers, and deserts, filled with bustling cities and grand palaces where kings wore golden crowns and robes that shimmered in the sunlight. In this great kingdom lived a young man named Daniel. He was not a king, nor a soldier, but a man whose heart was full of faith, courage, and an unshakable love for God. Daniel was known far and wide for his wisdom and kindness. People admired him, and even the king trusted him to make important decisions. But as often happens in stories, admiration can spark jealousy. Some officials in the kingdom grew envious of Daniel's success. They whispered in corners, plotting, hoping to find a way to bring him down. One day, these officials came to the king with a clever plan. "King," they said, "we know you value Daniel, but if you make a law that even he must follow, then you can watch whether he obeys or disobeys." The king, pleased with their suggestion but unaware of their deceit, signed a decree. It stated that for 30 days, no one could pray to any god or human except the king himself. Anyone who disobeyed would be thrown into a den of lions. Daniel, however, had a secret that could never be hidden. He prayed to God 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and evening, he opened his window toward Jerusalem and prayed with his heart full of trust. When Daniel learned about the decree, he could have been afraid. He could have stopped praying to save himself. But Daniel's faith was stronger than fear. He knelt by the window, folded his hands, and prayed just as he always had. The officials, watching Daniel from afar, gasped. They saw him praying and quickly ran to the king. "He is breaking the law," they cried. The king was distressed. He liked Daniel and did not want to see harm come to him. But a law of the Medes and Persians could not be changed once it was decreed. The king sighed, his heart heavy, and reluctantly ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. Imagine the moment as Daniel was lowered into that dark, damp place. The lions, fierce and strong, circled below, their eyes glowing in the shadows. The earth trembled under their heavy steps, and the wind echoed off the stone walls. Daniel did not cry out in fear. He did not plead. He whispered a prayer of trust, knowing that God's protection was greater than any danger. All night long, Daniel lay among the lions. The officials sneaked back, expecting disaster, whispering to one another about the terrible end that awaited him. But something remarkable happened. The lions, mighty and hungry, did not touch him. They lay around him quietly, as if tamed by an invisible hand. God had sent his angel to shut their mouths, protecting Daniel in a miraculous way. Meanwhile, the king could not sleep. All night, he paced in his palace, worried for Daniel. When the first light of morning crept across the hills, he rushed to the den. "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to protect you?" he called out, his voice trembling. Daniel answered, calm and unharmed, "O king, my God sent his angel, and he shut the lions' mouths. I am safe because I trusted in him." The king's heart leapt with joy. He commanded the officials who had plotted against Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den instead. The lions, fierce and powerful, turned on them, and the wicked plotters met a grim end. The king then proclaimed throughout his kingdom that everyone should respect and honor the God of Daniel, whose power and faithfulness were unmatched. Daniel's story teaches us lessons that echo through time. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to trust God even when the world seems threatening. Faith is not measured by comfort, but by obedience in the face of danger. And God's protection is powerful and real, surrounding those who remain steadfast in love, prayer, and trust. Even today, when we face challenges that seem insurmountable, when we feel surrounded by difficulties or threats, we can remember Daniel. We can remember the calm faith that tamed the lions, the prayers that rose above fear, and the trust that never wavered. Life may not always be easy, and dangers may loom, but with courage, wisdom, and faith in God, we can face any challenge, knowing that we are never truly alone. And so, whenever you hear the roar of a challenge, or feel small in the face of a problem, remember Daniel. Remember the lions, silent and still, and the young man who trusted completely. Remember that faith, prayer, and courage can move mountains, tame wild beasts, and protect us in ways that seem impossible. For Daniel's God is alive, powerful, and always watching over those who trust him. If you love this story, please like and subscribe so we can share more adventures.